Officially, good afternoon. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Market Watch Group Weekly Market Wrap. My name is Scott. I will be your host. As always, let me just remind you that what we do is for education and illustrative purposes only. Nothing we do or say should ever be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any financial security or product. We're not brokers. We're not advisors. Yada, yada, you know the drill. Okay. What are we doing today? Market analysis. What happened today? What does it mean to us? We have an hour left. So one of the things I would expect is that you're making decisions. I hope, we've talked about this before. I hope you have two monitors, maybe more, but at least two. And on one monitor, you have us. And on the other monitor, you have a chart and your brokerage account. And you're able to look at what we're doing and evaluate, and then be on the other screen, and you can have charts, and you can be thinking, oh, am I in this? Do I need to make a decision? You can see that one of the most important things we do on Fridays is, of course, mindset for trades being carried. Are you going to carry it? All of it? Half of it? A third of it? Are you going to sell some and take some, tighten up your stop? Are you going to, right? These are the decisions as we think about. And then we think, well, what's coming next week? Is there anything that's going to help move the market? We'll look at the economic calendar. Our watch list is chock full of big, strong stocks that are showing increased momentum. There is opportunity for us. We put on a couple of things. They're just kind of sitting. Fair enough. I mean, this is not a market that we're like, oh, it's rip roaring and we expect to just catch things all over. This is a market where we've done well when we have shown the appropriate level of patience and discipline. Those are two core characteristics. If you've done well in the last 2 or 3 months, right? Basically since the election, if you've done well, even if you've done well, meaning you haven't lost while the rest of the market has, the only way you're not going to achieve that by getting lucky. You're going to achieve that by exercising an appropriate level of patience and discipline. What are we going to look at this week is Section 8. So we're very excited for two things. Number one, Section 8 means we have just completed a 2-month loop on our trading plan development journey. It loops and it loops and it loops, which means that next week we're going to start over with Section 1. And if it's your first time around, it goes fast. You're going to blink and then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, look at this trading plan. Pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Then on the second pass, we go from defining to refining. Now we can start to be like, oh, you know what? I didn't really say that right. I really meant, right? Now you know how you want to change it. Third pass. So we define, then we refine, and then we polish. And after that, we just sort of look to execute and adapt the plan as our trading warrants, whether it's market conditions or anything else like that. But I'll tell you this, 6 months, you'll have the strongest trading plan you could ever have imagined. That's my promise. So then the other thing that's starting next week, Glenn and I have been working on a sub loop, not the big loop, but the 2 weeks. We'll talk about it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we'll have 4 and then it starts over so that when you're new, it's just this, what is that going to be? That's your basic blueprint. You don't need to have the entire trading plan before you trade because you can't have the entire trading plan before you trade. Part of it, you're developing as you trade and refining as you trade, but you got to have something to start with. So that's going to help you with the very basic requirements, trading rules, risk management, psychology. It's not going to have the whole list. It's going to be a pared down version. Glenn and I are excited because we've been working on that to unveil that. That'll be on Tuesday night at the trading foundations. So let's go. Okay, what happened today? Market started favorable, dropped off pretty quickly, flat across the board. You can see it. We'll go look one by one. Started bullish, dropped slightly negative. The NASDAQ 0.02. Russell kind of flat. The VIX is down a little bit. Gold is up. I think a number of you got into a trade on that. So, yeah. Okay. With Glenn, the GDX trade, I believe. Anyone tell me if you're in that one now or not? I can't remember who took that trade. We got a few people joining us here. Let me make sure I'm getting them in from the waiting room. So the GDX trade definitely is still viable. So, okay, welcome to a wave of you who just joined. Good to see you. Happy Friday. Stopped out, John Wells. Yep. Hi, Corrine. Good to see you. What do we have going on? Let's talk about it. A deal in the hopper for U.S. and China. U.S. farm economy starts to see hits from Trump. Let's see. 80% seems right. So that's, if they lower it, that'll be nice. Craziness indeed. Tesla stock jumps to highest levels, up 5%. We said bullish. Now, I find that I have a bias around Tesla that I don't really end up trusting it to trade it. So I'm not going to put an alert out on it. No sound? Oop. How about now? I think I maybe bumped the mute button accidentally on my microphone as I leaned in. Did you hear me say that this is one that we do maybe think we may need to do something about? This Coca-Cola trade. So what did we talk about here? We talked about this support level. This support level. So what's going on right now? It's breaking. It's breaking support. It's not holding up. Right? It looked like it was going to turn. This started into what would normally be or might normally be the buying cycle. The same thing that happened here and ended up here. But what did it never do? It never broke support. It never really turned down the way it is now. This is a different story. What was the stop on this? Anyone remember? I remember ish. And by remember, I mean I have the picture of the alert. 7122. Yeah, we're there. I'll have to look. I might have gotten picked off and didn't even realize it. Yeah. It's not, here's where, in my experience, what I see is people in the trade will do things like, well, there's not very much volume. Oh, okay. Well, did you define your exit as it needs to break support with big volume? And if so, where's the exact line in the sand? Like, if I don't have a number that says this is where I'm wrong, then I wouldn't be able to quantify how much I'm going to lose if it gets to that point. If I can't quantify how much it's going to lose if it gets to that point, then I don't have the ability to control my risk through position sizing. So right now, this is at the level where it's like, okay, we're there. It's Friday. What would be the alternative? You carry a trade. Has it been in this level before and recovered? Sure, right here it did it. But that was on the recovery. Right now we're on the downswing. So, again, when you took this from the alert, it became your trade. You should have an idea of your targets. Maybe you used mine. Maybe you adapted them a little. Your stops, maybe you used mine. Maybe you adapted a little. You should have an idea of all of it. And now you should be thinking, just like me, do I carry this trade through the weekend, or is it time to say, you know what? Well, I thought was going to happen, didn't happen. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions on that one. Let's hit the SPY and the VIX. So the SPY tells us what? You can see we hit a selling cycle here. And we had this occur. We don't know for sure. I mean, could it come down more? Of course it could. Could it bounce from here? We're just kind of stuck a little bit right in this area. It looked like it was trying to turn, but it hasn't given the full confirmation yet. Now, that doesn't mean some stocks haven't, of course, because when you look at something like Morgan Stanley, which we took, you can see this one did turn and cross, and it did give us this break of this flag. There's the pull, there's the flag, and now we're saying, all right, well, we're not wrong unless this thing really comes all the way back down below. I think I put my stop below 120. Let's go back and take a peek. 118.50. Where's that? Oh, look at that. Pretty close. That makes a lot of sense. So what am I going to do with this Morgan Stanley? Carry it. Yeah. Anybody in this one? Let me know. It's quiet out there today. Everyone's thinking about the weekend. Were there any others that I didn't talk about that you're in from alerts? Here's GDX. This is from Glenn's. I believe he gave an update on this one, but you can actually see if you are still in this one, if you didn't end up getting picked off on this downswing, it's trying to go again. So what would I do with this? Don't let it, don't let it take out too much of this at this point. I would say if you look at this low and this low, 49.20 here, 49.11 here, I think something like that makes actually a lot of sense. What's the play here? Any kind of trade war escalations where it's like, oh yeah, everything's going pretty well. Yeah, is it today? What about next week? Who knows? It's a bit of a hedge. It's an inflation hedge, a trade war hedge. Okay. Let's go to the SPY. And then to the VIX. So you had this big symmetrical triangle type pattern. It did break the upside. So I am more bullish than not with as far as those technicals go. Did anything new happen? Let's start with that. Let's look at our posture. This will help us with any trades you may be on the fence with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we were here last time. We went down a little, up a little, and we're basically right where we started. When we look at the weekly chart, it's going to be very similar. There's just not much from this week. It's just this doji. We said, hey, if it can break through this line, but it's not. It's stuck right at the underside of this line. If it pulls back and makes a higher low, that might be something that we'd score. But there's nothing right now that's fundamentally shifting our overall posture on the market. So this score is likely to stay unchanged. This score likely to stay unchanged. I could be wrong. I mean, I've seen stranger things happen, but I don't think so. And then here. What's interesting is all that volume that we had for so long. I can't move my drawing tools out of the way. All that volume that we had for so long, we're going to lose this day. That's it. We're going to have this one day with this little bit of volume. It's basically irrelevant. So what do we have now? How close was this? Not. We have, now we don't have any buyers or any sellers. There's two ways we could look at that. We could look at it as a tie, and you would give that slightly to the buyers. That's the tie goes to the buyers. Or sometimes when there's no score at all, I'll have people put zeros. I like to score it. If it's zeros, what it tells me is that, yeah, it's likely to move the way it's moving. What day is it moving? It's up. So right now I'm looking at scoring this at 0.25 and my sanity check says, yeah, that checks out. That's a nice uptrend right there. I don't think we're going to see a change to be fair. Let me just look at the VIX. I think we're going to see a stable week, but that in and of itself is information. If we thought this was going to be a strong recovery, we would see another one up, but it was like an okay recovery. We're recovering back into more of a neutral score, right? So we have had a bit of recovery, but it's not like all of a sudden we're moving into a bullish score. We're moving into still just barely neutral territory. Let's go take a look at the VIX, and then let's go through the watch list. Got to tell you, I was definitely looking at Apple earlier. Still kind of getting close. I think early next week, that'd be a great one. So as of right now, the VIX has made a lower high. We did get a lower high this week. You might say, where do you see that, Scott? Right there. That was our last high back here. And we came down, and then we went up, down. Now, what else? We did not take this out. If this were to turn and shoot like that, would I be nervous? Yes. If I had bullish trades on, would I hedge? Yes. So I'm watching for that. But as of right now, everything looks pretty good. We'll think about that as we go into next week. But this is likely to actually get a 0.25 bump, just a small bump, but a bump. What's on the calendar for next week? Let's take a quick peek. Adriana Kugler. I do like Adriana. Adriana? I don't know. It's an inflation data week. Consumer price index had dropped to a minus 0.1. It's looking to go back up to 0.2. Year over year, 2.4 expected to drop to 2.3. Core CPI expected to tick up. Core CPI stay the same. And then after that, we've got, of course, regular old jobless claims, which are already back down into the 220s. Not much on Friday. Fair enough. Oops. Okay, let's get to the watch list. What's our bullish list for next week? That's one of the first ones right there. One of the first ones. Now, I would want to see this thing up around 200 or so. And it just isn't going to close there. But this is very close. Well, we got out of this, and now it's looking to see. I would say from here, my target would be up around 225. AbbVie starting to stabilize already. I think AbbVie could be a trade. That's already technology and healthcare for next week. Amazon, no, it's kind of moved a little. We saw, but we didn't really do much with it. APH overextended. BAC keeps moving. Caterpillar. So some of these are just kind of grinding along. This is a new one, but we got to wait for a pullback. A lot of this. There's one that we like. CLS. Miguel. Closed. Closing. Still in. I think this one for me, I have a zone now. And in this zone, I believe is where a trade is going to set up. That's into next week. Looks great. Give me your thoughts. You guys are quiet today. Don't get quiet on me. CME, overextended. It's stalling. If you're in it, you're probably like, all right, I think I'm done here. But we need one of these. We need something to give us an opportunity to end up getting a piece of it. Okay, CNP. Yeah. You'll notice I always like to put my box a little bit above. A little bit above the previous low. So, let me know if you have any questions about that. Okay. Cisco, Sandy, I believe you said you were in this one. Let me know where things stand. Ooh, that's a tough one. Beginning of the day, you're like, hey, look at this. At the end of the day, you're right back where you were. Now it's Friday. Now this thing's rolling over. It's been on this run. I would love to know. I would love to know if got out just in time. Love it. Love it. What do you think about PM on the list? We'll hit that one. Delta, a little overextended. I'm a little bit of a superstitious alphabetical person. I kind of keep it in the order, mostly. Duke pulling back. EA. Earnings did good. What do we have here? Nice little flag. I could look at this for a pullback. I could look at this for a bullish flag breakout. This could go either way next week. Obviously, the flag is one that would be Monday, Tuesday type of a deal. If it pulled back into here, that's going to be later in the week kind of a deal. But EA, new, looking pretty strong. I like it. Looking for it. Give me your thoughts. ENB is on a consolidation. Sorry, hasn't corrected. Looks still bullish. We'll see what happens if it starts to pull out of that. Fastenal. I don't like the way Fastenal is moving. We'll give it a little longer. Flex is overextended. Fox is not doing much either. Let's see. Gold or GDX on a little bit of a pullback, but still okay. Google got hit a couple of days ago. I'm a little bit uncertain about that one. Goldman looks fine, just like Morgan looks fine. Hilton, overextended. Robin Hood, same thing. It's just not doing much, right? It's just not doing much. Where am I? Howmet, overextended. Now, what I want you to recognize, how many things we have where we're like, well, that's overextended. That's over. Okay. So the buyers did quite a good thing. We have to recognize that. As we move into next week, we'll be a pretty mid. We've moved out of that bearish minus 2.5 back into a neutral, probably minus 0.5, maybe minus 0.25. What does that mean? It means I could trade either way. But right now, the momentum is more bullish than not. That's what we should be thinking about. Look at this one. It's very strong. It's overextended. I need a pullback, but I like the way that it looks. IBM already started. What are we thinking about here? Something like this. It doesn't have to hold this one. I definitely would prefer if it holds that one. So anything in that vein would be just fine. ICE overextended. IWM kind of flat. Coke. Again, this is one of those times where it's easy to be like, it's only a small candle. It's only a small volume day. It's still holding the 50-day moving average. All those are true things. And if those were things that were implemented with this trade at the beginning, that you said, as long as this doesn't happen, I'm going to be fine. But I didn't do those things. For me, I'm thinking to myself, I wanted this to hold that support level, and that support level did not hold. Does that mean that if I get out, I may have to watch it recover next week and be like, oh, I should have, I would have, I could have? Yeah, and then I have to fight through it so that I don't allow that to negatively impact me. If anyone's in this one, I'm very curious what you're going to do. Are you staying in? Are you closing? Have you already exited all of yours? Let me know what's happening. Let's keep going. Kroger, kind of the same deal, pulling back. MasterCard. Tell you what, it was a strong one. It was a strong one. I exited, had a stop loss at 70.22, still above that. Love it. Love it. I agree. Right? The stop loss is the seatbelt. It's there in case everything goes wrong. It's there. But you're saying, hey, I see the tree. I'm going to try to hit my brakes and turn the wheel and not hit the tree. If I happen to hit the tree, I've got my seatbelt on. You would be amazed how many traders I work with that look at their stop loss as the exit strategy. And I'm like, wait, that's not the exit. That's like worst case scenario. Are you protected and how? Nobody looks at a seatbelt as an exit strategy for when things get dicey on the road. You're going to defensive drive. You're going to take evasive action. You're going to do whatever you can. And then, and only then, if everything else has collapsed, your seatbelt's on. The same thing with a trade. If everything else goes wrong, there's your stop. But you're like, I don't need to wait for a weekend and maybe another day to get stopped out on Tuesday and then be like, man, my loss, extra time, it could double the loss. I say, well done. Well done, sir. Meta is starting to pull back, possibly into a trade. Morgan, come on, Morgan. Come on. Microsoft, nothing yet. MicroStrategy, nothing yet. Netflix, overextended. Nvidia, overextended. Palantir gave like a funny, hey, I'm going to turn into a trade, and then today it's pulling back a little. I don't know. I found it just a little too choppy for my taste. I think a couple of you may have gotten in this or gotten in earlier in the dip, so you'd probably still be okay with today's move, though obviously nobody loves to see that. Who was asking for this one? Philip Morris. If you're asking because you're in it, I'd say, yeah, you probably wanted to get out yesterday. If you're asking because you're thinking it looks like a setup, I agree. I'm going to have this level here in mind. I'm going to draw my box and say, hey, if we can hold up, start to slow down in here and then turn, yeah, then I think maybe I have something up there to 180. Maybe there's a piece available. Otherwise, nah, I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay. Let's see. Roblox. Okay. Now we have something really brewing for Monday. Not today. It's not quite there. It's pulled back off these highs. You can see we need one more day. I don't need it to take this out. I just need it to still kind of move through this area. Give me something like this. We're good to go. Support. Stop. Pretty good move. Pretty good move. I mean, what is that? 63.5. 70, 10 points. Puts it around 80. So that would give me 8 points to the upside. Get in at 72. Stop it. I bet I can. I don't know. What does it look like? 2.5 to get 10? What else? Look at that implied volatility. I had some feedback come in about an alert that came out recently that asked if I was crazy because we had an out of the money option, and I said no, that's quite common for us when the implied volatility is cheap, when the implied volatility is low. Yes? So it's not just a, hey, we always, no, I am very cognizant of when that I'm going to be willing to do that. The other thing is, and you remember that we cited this earlier, discipline in execution. I know that if I put this trade on, I won't be here in time for, it might expire out of the money. How could it possibly? I'll be gone well before that. So understand, if you are concerned, and if you're listening to the recording of this, my advice is come to a session and bring it up. I actually invite people, challenge me. Be like, why? Why'd you go out of the money instead of in the money? And I'll show you exactly how, if the trade plays out as expected, I'll make more money, and how if it doesn't, I'll lose the same, maybe less. So when you think about that construct from a reward to risk standpoint, that's why. It's very deliberate. It's very methodical. That's the construct. So, I would say this one to me is looking the best for a setup. There's a couple that look pretty strong. I think our posture is going to slightly improve. I think that what we have is enough to want to trade bullishly. I think we're starting to see enough to trade increasingly bullishly. A lot more? No, marginally more. We didn't move to a 3 or a 4 or a 5 on the market. We moved to a minus 0.5. It's better, but it's not good. This is the way I would describe it. Give me your thoughts on that. You guys are very quiet on a Friday. Okay. Reddit. I would actually put Reddit in the same category. Roblox, Reddit, both look pretty good. Look at Reddit. The stochastics is turning. The candles are just sort of showing price stalling here at this support level. We're just waiting for the buyers to come in. What would I want to see? I'd probably want to see them take out today's at the very least the body. That's 109.86. That's $2 and higher than now. That might be more than I need, but I mean, the last move was 93.5 to 123.5. 93, that's a 30-point move. 30-point move. So 105 means 135. 135 from 135 from, we'll call it 112, 111, 24 points. I should be able to get 3 to 1. Yeah, I think there's some good looking things setting up. I'm kind of excited. Even with a trade that I just had to close for a loss, I was on a more defensive oriented trade, Coca-Cola. What gave it some additional appeal is what right now is making us think, I'm looking for some more bullish things. I'm not looking for defensive things. I'm looking for bullish things. We had a defensive thing. We did okay on Walmart. That has a bit of a defensive quality to it. This is communication services. We like to see that. What else do we have? Rivian. Oh, look at Rivian. Sharp bounce coming out of earnings. Maybe something there. Rocket Lab. No. RTX. Not really. SE's pulling back, but maybe setting up for the next trade. TPR. Tesla. Yeah, we flagged it. I didn't want to jinx it, but it's right there. That's our signal. And today would be moving. And you would be carrying this one. In fact, I think I even said you might have a target up near 350 on something like that. Anyone pull the trigger on Tesla? Anyone think about pulling the trigger on Tesla? I hope you guys aren't only waiting for signals. TSM, Twilio did not pull. Fair enough. Visa hit the brakes a little bit. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Do you feel like it's psychological? Do you feel like it's the market? Do you feel like it's triggered by just like, some recent events? Give me your thoughts on that. Walmart setting up. I know I said not looking for a defensive trade. Not liking this tariff deal. Fair enough. Yeah. This Walmart trade we took the last one. Worked out. Made some money. Yeah. I'm looking for this one. So you can see we've got a little in tech. We've got a little in communication services. We've already got something in financials. We've got something in consumer staples. That has a good balanced feel. We'll talk about what would a hedge look like. Wish I'd pulled the trigger on Tesla. If I had to read one book on trading, man. So if it's a book on, boy, that's a stumper. One book on trading. Phil's making me think hard. I oftentimes will kind of mix books into things like an options book versus a technical analysis book versus a trading systems book, etc. But if it's just like, I'll tell you this. This is always a good one. Maybe not what I would say is like the best, but I'm a big fan of the Market Wizards books, and there's a series of them. I actually haven't seen the recent ones. I love the original Market Wizards and new Market Wizards. I love them because you don't have to read the whole book. They're just chapters, and each chapter is an interview. Right? Each chapter is an interview with some of the most successful traders. What's interesting, and I mean of like the last 50 years, what's interesting is you'll have some people that are options, and some are stocks, and some are futures, and some are bonds, and some are short term, and some are scalpers, and some are long term, and some are technicians, and some are fun, right? And you're like, the methodology is not. So it's not, the success is not, do you pick technicals or fundamentals? That's not how it is, right? And what you realize is, as you look for common thread of success, what do you find? And you hear the same themes over and over, where people say, I started thinking about my signals and my rules, and then I realized, actually, I need to have my risk accounted for. And then as I got even deeper, I realized I needed to have my mental game accounted for. So we tend to go signals, risk, psychology, and they say if I had to do it over again, I'd flip it and go psychology, risk, signals, which is very much influenced how I have taught over the years to try to create that exact orientation, to say, hey, I want you thinking about the mental side of this and how you're going to control it and what are you willing to take, and then how it ties into the risk. And then, right, it's a great question. As he puts that out, as Phil puts that out, it sparked an amazing idea. I'm going to build a Market Watch group reading list. Yeah, because I do have like, okay, here's some good technical analysis books. And here's some good options books. Keith says, I'm reading the only options trading book you'll ever need. Same as the market watch. Okay, love it. Love it. Yeah. What a great call out, Phil. We're gonna get that put into place. It won't take long. I actually came across my doc. I had an old document because I used to have to do it a lot. Where I had the books grouped. What I do need to do is probably dig around and update it because it's probably 10 years old. So there's probably some really good new books. Phenomenal. All right. That was the end of the list too. So we have some signals. We have a couple of trades. One failed, one still on. Prior to that, we had some great ones in a row. We're looking at lined up for next week. Increased posture. Trading goals. Trading goals. Don't forget to finish this component of your trading plan. One of the reasons that we do things like identify weaknesses is say, well, what am I going to do about it? One of the reasons we have these trading plans is that we can start to look at them and say, you know what, this is not good enough. This can be better. Great. Set a goal. Set a goal to improve yourself with your weaknesses, your trading plan with some time. Set a goal to try to parlay the analytics that you're getting from your record keeping into specific objectives with your trading that say things like, I think I can reduce the size of my average losers. I think I can increase the size of my average wins. I think I can improve my entries. I think I can, whatever it is. But I want you to notice our objectives are about improving the process and the process leading to better results, not saying, hey, my goal is to make 20% this year. I want to make 25%. The goal is to create a beautiful trading plan and let that trading plan do whatever it can do. Because if the market does 20%, you shouldn't be satisfied with 25. Right? Someone just saying I did 25, that's not enough context for us to be like, oh, that's great. If the market did 30, does that happen some years? Of course it does. Market does 30 and someone does 25. Are we like, hey, well done you? No, I'm like, you actively spent time to underperform just sticking your money in the market. Market does 10 and you do 25 or 30. Great. Well done. Yeah, we're happy with that. So that's important to have that context for us, to not just sort of settle, but to understand that what the market does matters to how we do. Anyway. Okay, here's the last questions. 2 questions. First one, then a follow-up. Question 1, how are you feeling? Question 2, and this is the psychology evaluation. Question 2, is that how you wanted to feel? Yeah, those are your questions. How are you feeling? Is that how you wanted to feel? How am I feeling? I'm feeling in control. I'm feeling optimistic. I'm feeling a little frustrated. So as soon as I say that last one, is that how you wanted to feel? Of course not. Of course I don't want to feel frustrated. So what that does is it flags the one for me that I need to be aware of and need to be addressing, right? So this is just a quick little inventory to say, are we on track? Miguel says, I'm feeling proactive. Hell yes. Hell yes, I want to feel that way. I'm not sure if he does. I would assume so. I do. I would. Proactive is a good one. Even keeled. Ready. What? Right? We don't want to feel regretful. We don't want to feel impatient. We don't want to feel frustrated. Phil said, Phil says he's feeling empowered, but he's not sure if he likes it. For sure. Yeah, good. That's what I want you to think about every week, and then bring it to next week. I'm a big believer in locus of control, right? We can't control the market. What can we control? I can control everything on my trading plan. I can control my record keeping. I can control my rules and my ability to execute those rules with as much discipline as possible. To take the time when market's not as good to get my record keeping dialed in, to get my trading plan dialed in, to work on the peripherals, and still hopefully stay positive on your trading results. If this market's gonna stabilize and we're gonna see some trade progress and the market stabilizes and moves, great. I'm all for it. I don't care. I would love to root for that. I've said it before. Just declare victory. I mean, what does it matter? Just be like, yeah, no, we won. Everybody kowtowed to us, so I took the tariffs off. We're the best. We're the victors. Let's move forward with business. I'd be like, yeah, congratulations on your victory. Amazing. Let's move forward with business. That's all I care about is that last part. Let's just go. Let's let this. It's that old. It's a little bit cliche, but it's like you don't force something to grow. You move the things that the impediments out of the way. You don't have to force anything. Just let it go. Do its thing. Move out of the way. Jose said my discipline is bad. Get the right trades. Okay. Right. I love that. What I would love to see is 3 to 4 points that say this is how I'm going to overcome this. Right? What are you going to do? That's a big one. I've seen that over and over and over again, where it's like, okay, number one, and I know you're relatively new, but I think continuing to correlate your current conditions. Right now, expectations are a little lower. So Coke drops on me, I'm like, I'm out. If that same thing happened, when my posture was 5, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not touching it. It'll come back. Just relax. I'll just let it sit for a little bit. I'm not going to take a loss lightly, but here, different. And in fact, who just came in? Is that PJ? Said, since the posture looks like it might be improving, and I agree, if anything, quarter, maybe half a point better, should we maybe leave the GDX trade open? I do believe that's exactly why we talk about posture on Fridays. 100%. Yeah, that's a great connection. So, perfect. Good. What's next? Sunday, regular time. We will have our market posture session, 9 a.m. We'll get our short list for next week. We'll see what we have ready to trade. I talked about this already. I think I mentioned Stephen. Miguel, I sent you a message. I don't think there's anyone else here that had expressed interest that I needed to get a little more info from. So I sent you a message. Go look for a message if you don't mind. And I thank you for it. Other than that, it's great to see everybody. I hope you enjoy. We got some beautiful weather here, 77 degrees. There's the closing bell. It's great to see everybody. I hope to see you on Sunday morning. If not, remember, you can always catch the recordings. Have a great rest of your day, great weekend. See you then. As always, happy trading.
Recording